Hello gang, welcome back once again. If you're tuning in for the first time, I am the Articulate Grunt. Welcome to the channel. I know, I'm putting this out on a Monday, and normally this would be something I would keep for a freeform Friday type thing, but I just didn't want to wait. With that said, I'm going to build my stage, and be right back. Alright, the size comparisons on the mech is what's important. Now so my ugly mug's not needed. And I'm going to apologize up front. I do not have these three, the Adder, Grendel, or Shadowcat, in my collection, in either old Ralparthal or Ironwind Metals, so I cannot do a comparison. So, start with them. There they are. I can't do it. Let's take them off the table. Move on to the ones I've got. Alright, now, while the Executioner is about the same height and size, I think the new one is a little bit more bulkier, and it's definitely got a lot better detail. On the other hand, the Timberwolf, it's considerably larger than the original Ralparthal lead Timberwolf. Has a lot of details, but I'd swear that's a 90-tonner or something. You know, not a 75, especially when compared side by side with the 95-ton Executioner. Yeah. Moving on. Alright, so with the Nova, once again, it's considerably larger and bulkier than the original. A lot of very fine details to it, but the scales are not matching up. And the Elementals, we were expecting that, because the old Elementals were out of 6mm scale. They were a little large. These being perfectly in scale, they're significantly smaller. Alright, now, you can get mad at me for names and such later. Gargoyle, 80-tonner. The details and construction on the new one are a lot nicer and a lot more to actually fit what the technical readout says, you know, appearance-wise. But they're about the same size, if not the new one actually being a little bit smaller overall, which would fit accordingly and better with, you know, sort of the larger, heavier mechs, you know, being in scale at least with themselves. Now the Hellbringer is only slightly larger and has a lot more appropriate details and matches up with the technical readouts better. That one's feasibly integratable, you know, alongside the old ones. That could just be a case of different places of manufacture. Alright, now for the Mad Dog. The Mad Dog is considerably bulkier and once again a good bit larger. The scales are close, and the bulk is probably more realistic for a 60-tonner. Next one, however, Fenris is actually a little bit smaller than the old lead, you know, long-legged version, and has a lot more details. Now, the Viper I'm doing solo simply because I've got all three. In the middle, we've got the newest one from Catalyst Games. It looks a little off, especially when I bring back the 45-ton Fenris. It's 40-ton Viper. It's bigger. I mean, flat out, looks like it should be the larger, heavier mech. Even though it's 5 tons lighter, it's a 40 compared to a 45. I also want to bring up because I've got both the old original lead and the later production Ironwind Metals larger scale, put out around the time of the HeroClick base version by WizKids. So it is significantly larger than the original, but I'm not sure how well you can see it. It is actually a little bit smaller, not as buff as the huge Ironwind Metals remake. Alright, the Direwolf and the Summoner. The Direwolf, the new one, is really fabulous on the details, but is a good bit larger than the original Direwolf. I'm not actually all that upset with that, because the Direwolf to me seemed a little small compared to the other clan mechs, considering it's a 100-tonner. So, to have this huge 100-ton monstrosity, not actually that upsetting. The Summoner is almost the same height, same size, but is beefier, buffer. It's not as radical a that just doesn't look right as the Timberwolf did, in my opinion. Of course, everything is in my opinion. All right, Stormcrow and Stormcrow, Ryokan, and the Koshi. Now, it's actually a little bit smaller than the original lead, but the details are a lot more intricate, which I really like. On the other hand, Stormcrow is significantly larger than the original lead miniature. It is a 55-tonner, so that's probably a good thing. Though when put side by side with some of the old leads, it's significantly larger than a 75-ton Timberwolf. So, scaling, not a big thing. And maybe the Timberwolves, maybe I need to get more Timberwolves and phase them out of my main force to have the maybe better sized new Timberwolves fit in. Though they do seem too large. As I said, they look like an assault, in my opinion. But these, not too bad. These look really good together. And a significant size increase. Alright, that was the last of the clan mech comparisons. Let's start moving into the inner sphere. Now here, we've got a actual old lead Stinger next to the new Stinger. I'm actually really happy with, really like that. The size looks good. Same with the Valkyrie. The details are fabulous. And the size, it's a smidge shorter, but the bulk and everything matches up really, really well, in my opinion. I love it. Now something I've seen commented on, that with a few of these I'm going to have to cut the feet loose and rearrange them on the base, because the angling is just weird and funky. But here we have the new Wasp. It is slightly smaller, but the sculpt, the design, looks really good. I'm happy with that. Especially as a 20-tonner, it needs to be small. The Phoenix Hawk is once again slightly smaller. The thickness, stoutness look of it is about the same in my opinion, and the details are fabulous. All right, getting into the really lovely, the big heavies, so moving into some of those that are some of our all-time favorites. The Riflemen are beautifully, almost exactly the same height, very slight difference there, and the detailing is gorgeous. And as for thickness, stout, looking its weight, I'm liking it. It's a good matchup. I could see putting those in a formation together and not really having any kind of an issue. The Archers are once again about the same height, with a slight difference, but the old school lead Archer and the new one is a freaking monster. To give a comparative idea, there's the monster of the Direwolf. The Archer is thick and heavy. It is a monster. The details and everything, though, are gorgeous. And as a 70-tonner, okay, it probably shouldn't look like a, high school, college track runner. I will probably use the Archers in the same larger formation, but not side by side or in the same company. All right, some of our all-time favorites in and out of lore, even with their heat problems, the Marauder and the Warhammer. Oh, all right. As you can see, I don't even need to really show it off. They're all about the same height. That part is beautiful. The detail on the new ones is freaking fabulous. Now we get into some difference. Marauder, spindly old design. The new one is a little more dynamic and a little bit stouter and thicker. It's not bad. I could see having them in a formation side by side. On the other hand, the Warhammer, always good and decently solid. For the new one, may not show up as well here, but just looks like a heavy monster. Looks like it should be holding the line and tearing up some rear end. Tearing up some ass. Now, for the final piece that I know so many out there are so in love with, and I'm going to have to strip my old lead Irby so I can paint them to match to be in a formation. The new Irby looks a little squatter, a little smaller, but the details and the actual attention paid to that left arm are just fabulous. Alright, gang, sorry for a bit of choppiness in that one as I had to clip out the pieces in between moving mechs back and forth for display. I hope that helps you in showing you the size comparison. A lot of them are really amazing. Some, I mean, like that new Timberwolf, I can see fielding that as a Madcap Mark II. That is just a bulky monster, but that's okay. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to leave any thoughts, comments, observations in the section down below. Ding that like or dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you have and you want YouTube to give a shout about letting you know when I put out new material, ding that notification bell. More important than anything, though, more important than any of this, if there's something or someone important to you that matters in your life, then whether it's up and out face to face or from behind your keyboard or just picking up the phone, don't be some NPC disappearing in the background. Be a PC. Be someone that matters. Get involved. Make a difference. But take care. Stay safe. I am the Articulate Grunt, and I hope to catch you back later. So now, I'm out from here. Bye.